welcome to Gardening Naturally with Green Fingertips with me, Josie Rainbird, your natural gardening coach. Today we are talking about how you can make your own calcium magnesium feeds for your garden, organic, natural, all the good stuff from a bit of kitchen waste. So we're talking eggshells today. I've got various eggshells. I've saved them up, ready. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do them in a minute. So we are making calcium magnesium liquid feed for your plants, for the garden, whether you're growing tomatoes, peppers or anything like that, or for any plants that require a bit more calcium boost in your garden. But I will also be telling you about other ways that you can use eggshells in your garden to boost the calcium magnesium in the soil or for your plants. So let's crack on. Okay, so today we're making the calcium magnesium liquid feeds for your plants, for your garden. Organic, completely natural, all from waste eggshells. So if you eat the egg's gone, this is what you would throw away. So alternative ways that you can use eggshells in your garden to help boost the calcium magnesium content of the soil, boost the plants. If you've got a magnesium or calcium deficiency in your garden, particular soil types will have this sometimes, and they can lock it up quite easily. So some gardens will need a bit more magnesium and calcium in them. So you can either add the eggshells directly to your compost, if like we have here, used eggshells. If you make sure you crush them up small, because as an eggshell, a whole, like half an egg kind of thing shell, they take ages to break down in the compost. They really do take a while to break down. By the time you come to use your compost, they'll still be quite solid in there. So if you break them down really small, the more surface area they've got, the faster they're going to compost down, the faster they're going to break down and release that calcium and magnesium into your compost heap, into the compost you want to use. So break them down really well, but that in your compost, very good. So you can use that directly into your compost bin. You can also do what we're going to do, half the method of making the liquid feed, use them as a dry, ready to use powder. So calcium and magnesium are very important for the garden. They are a secondary macronutrient. So the first macros, the big three, are nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus. They are crucial to green leaf and shoot, or green leaf and stem growth. They're crucial to root growth, and they're crucial to buds, flowers as well. So they're crucial for the main general health of your plants. Calcium and magnesium are secondary macronutrients, so you'll need a bit of them, quite a bit more than you would do micronutrients, but not as much as you would do nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus. They help to support all three of the big three, the nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus. They help with the leaves and shoots and stem growth, and they help with the reproduction. They help to support cell growth as well, so recovery. If your plants get a particular issue, they get a fungus or they get disease damage or physical damage as well from weather or wildlife or us or whatever, they will really help. Calcium magnesium really helps towards cell growth as well, so it helps your plants recover from any damage much faster. So the faster they recover, the less chance they've got of getting hit with any more disease or being left vulnerable, and the more chance they have to looking lovely again for us in our garden. Calcium magnesium is really very important, even though it's not a primary macronutrient. Today, as I say, we're making the liquid feed, the calcium magnesium liquid feed. We're going to start off with, I need to roast the eggshells in the oven. So we're going to roast them about 200 degrees, about half an hour. Now that will make the eggshells brittle and hard and crumbly, so I can break them up really well in a powder, which I'll show you in a minute. We'll sterilise them as well, which is good, because at the moment they've still got the, as I say, remnants of egg and things in them, which builds bacteria, which isn't always great for your garden. That's very important to do. So roasting them plays multiple roles. But only this for half an hour, about 200 degrees thereabouts. You don't want to bake them too long, because if they burn, they'll smell, they won't be good, they will be harder to release the calcium, yeah, all the bad effects. So we go half an hour, shouldn't be needed any more than that, but you'll see them starting to change colour, and then when they come out you can really crumble them up, and when they come out of the oven we'll leave them to cool down for a bit as well. Here we've got the tray, eggshells, vinegar, jar and water. So I'm going to put the eggshells on the tray ready to go in the oven, and we're going to spread them out, and I'm going to break them up as much as I can, even though they're going to break up anyway in the blender, but obviously if they're broken up, the quicker they're going to roast, the quicker they dry up, so it's a good idea just to strain them for a crunch, bit of a scrunch. That's ready to go in the oven, so I'm going to put it in there, 200 degrees, a little bit higher if you want to, depending on how many eggshells you got. Then it will be on for half an hour, we'll check it, and if we think it's crumbly enough or brittle enough to break down, should be fine after half an hour, then we will bring them back out again. What I didn't mention just now was I also saved the water from when I cooked the eggs. The water that you boil the eggs in, as with potatoes and vegetables and anything like that, they take the nutrients, or they leach out some of the nutrients from the eggshells or from the skins of the vegetables into the water. So I've saved the water that I was boiling the eggs in because that would be infused with the calcium from the eggshell. This now is basically a mild calcium liquid feed. This isn't a liquid feed we are making today, but it is a calcium liquid feed. So if you're boiling eggs, and I use like potato water, vegetable water as well, because they do contain a lot of potassium and a lot of nitrogen as well, depending on what you're cooking. But vegetable water is very good for this as well. But you leave it to cool, put it to one side, leave it to cool, and then use that to water, and that will infuse. And so that's infused, ready to use feed, infused with nutrients your plants will definitely need and will appreciate. So that's a really good one. Now that's liquid. We're going to be using that in a minute to dilute down the eggshells when we go through our calcium and magnesium liquid feed in a moment. A bit more of a technical one, a bit more of a stronger calcium magnesium liquid feed than the water that you get from boiling your eggs, but still very good. Other ways you can use eggshells to provide this calcium magnesium that they need are, you can use them in your compost, as we spoke about just now. You can use the water from the eggs as a liquid feed, so you can use that as well. You can also oven cook them, like we're doing to make the feed in a second. You can oven cook them and also roast them up, if you like, to sterilise them, make them crumbly. Then you can pulverise them in a blender, in a food processor or anything like that, or if you've got one of those like NutriBullets or something. You can pulverise them up into a powder and then use the powder as a slow release calcium magnesium feed. This works very well if you are growing tomatoes and peppers. When you're planting them for the first time, if you like, not when they're like little seedlings, dilly things, but when they're full-size plants from the ground. When you dig the hole to put them in, put the calcium, put the eggshell powder in the bottom of the hole, and then as the roots grow, as the eggshells break down in the soil over time, because they break down really slowly, but as a powder they'll break down a bit quicker than they would do as a whole egg or eggshell. But the roots can access them straight away. So this is giving them direct access, easy access to a source of calcium magnesium, making it highly unlikely for them to become calcium magnesium deficient, reducing the risk of blossom end rot and other nasty calcium deficiency related issues. You can also, the way that we're going to be doing in a moment, with the vinegar water mixture, and then that will create a very strong calcium magnesium liquid feed, which you can feed over a period of time. So that can be used just to water around the roots of your plants. So whether it's your tomatoes and peppers, or whether it's your ornamental plants in the garden, anything that's deficient in calcium or is showing calcium deficiency signs or signs of calcium deficiency, you can use these on. So they're perfect. Let's say you can add them compost, you can make the powder, you can do the liquid feed, or you can use the water that you have boiled or cooked the eggs in. So there are several ways you can take the calcium magnesium from eggshells, waste eggshells that you would normally throw away, or as I say, put in your compost heap. You can use them to make very effective calcium magnesium feeds. So, eggs baked hard, and they've left to cool for a bit, so that's fine. Blender, eggshells. We are going to blend. Let's do that. We're going to blend these up into a fine powder now to make it easier for the process of liquid food making. It doesn't take very long to grind up, and it also works if you've got a coffee grinder as well, a bean grinder. You can see the powder. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take a jar. Glass jars are good. All the time the vinegar acid won't affect the glass, so that's fine. The ratio you want to mix for this liquid feed is 1 tablespoon of eggshell powder to 1 tablespoon of vinegar. This will have a little chemical reaction there to release the calcium out of the eggshells, and then we'll dilute it. So we're going to do that now. You can see the fizzing. And don't forget, this powder as well is the powder that you can use directly on its own to slow release calcium feed. The only reason we are mixing with vinegar and water today is to speed up the release of the calcium and make it into more of a faster acting feed. So this slow release feed, the powder, you can put in the bottom of the holes before you plant the tomato plants or pepper plants. You can use it as a top dressing for any shrubs or anything, or if you want to, you can dig it in and around the roots of your plants to give it slow release calcium, so that it'll break down in the soil and then be right at the roots where your plants need it. So it's really good stuff, just as it is. So one of them, one vinegar. You can be a bit liberal with the vinegar, it doesn't have to be 1-to-1, but thereabouts is a good guide. Mix it around so you can see, if you can hear that. Is it fizzing? It will continue to fizz for half hour or so, but the fizzing is releasing the carbon dioxide from the reaction, creates the carbon dioxide, I should say, calcium carbonate. The bubbling, releasing the carbohydrate. I keep trying to say carbohydrate. Carbon dioxide, and then what's left in the bottom in a minute will be the calcium, and then we'll dilute that down. So we're gonna leave that for a minute. Right, so I've just added in the rest of the powder because I thought, well, there's no point me keeping the powder. I'll make some more powder at some point. And I've added more vinegar to it as well, so you can see it's having a great time bubbling away there. So I'm gonna leave that there for a minute or two. I won't put the lid on because I want the gas to release, and then I'll dilute it down once the bubbles get calmed down a bit. So I am going to, when that's settled itself down, it shouldn't be too long, when that's calmed itself down, we'll fill it with water, so I'll show you that in a second. But that I am going to leave as a jar of liquid feed for now. I'll make some more, I'm sure, through the winter at some point when I make more eggs. I will also save the water, which we're going to use in a second. I'll save the rest of the water as well as a calcium ready-to-use feed for my houseplants. So I'll save that and I'll give them a water as well through the week so they can have that. And I will also make some more of the powder as well to add to my collection of feeds. So we'll do that, leave that to think about it for a minute, and then we'll come back. So I'm going to now fill it with water, so I'm going to lift you and put you down, whatever. So we've got the calcium carbonate now, the eggshells with the vinegar we've got here. So eggshells with the vinegar, finished bubbling away. And I'm going to top up the bottle. I'm going to top up the jar now with water, so you can see. So I'm going to top it up to the rim, and then I'm going to put the lid on. And because there's still vinegar in the water, it will still continue to break down the eggshell and release the calcium that's in the eggshell, so continuing to infuse the water, the liquid feed, if you like, with calcium. So depending on how long you want to leave it for, it will continue to break down over time. So I will probably leave this now until the spring, so it's going to be proper infused by the time it's done. But I'm going to use the water here. So I use the water used to boil the eggs in as well, and I've washed my spoon off in there, so there's a bit of eggshell and stuff in there as well, so that's good. And then I'm going to top it up with that, so that's doubly calcium water, calcium carbonate in there, so doubly calciumness. Then I'll seal it up, and that's going to give it a buzz again. I'm going to save the rest of this water as well, and I'm going to use it around my houseplants and things. At the moment, it's winter time, they're not going to need it so much out in the garden, so I'm not going to worry about it too much in there. I'll use it for the houseplants in the house, fine, and then anything that, if I think about saving some, I might put some in a bottle and save that for the spring, summer as well. So that's perfect. So I'm going to seal that up now that's finished sorting itself out. So as you can see, that's that beast, ready to go. Continue to break down the eggshell in there as well. It will continue to break down. So that's going to go in the cupboard with the rest of my slow release feeds, ready for the spring summer, along with the water as well. And later on, probably when I've boiled some more eggs, I will make some more eggshell powder as well and seal that, and then put that in the cupboard for the rest of my feeds ready for spring. So if you haven't already, go over at the end of this video, I'll link them anyway, but in my feeds and treatments, I think it is natural feeds and treatments playlist, I have got all of my other make ahead or homemade feed recipes and things, videos, so you can catch up on those. But I've recently made some really good slow release feeds and everything as well, so I'll link them at the end anyway on the next videos to watch, so you can catch up on those. But check it out on the playlist as well, you'll find some goodies in there. If you got value from today's video, obviously thank you for watching today, but if you got value from today's video, give us a thumbs up. A thumbs up always goes a long way. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment, absolutely fine. I keep up most of the comments, or all the comments, as best I can. So yeah, you got any questions? post in the comments and I will get back to you. And if you would like to see more from myself, more from Gardening Natural Green Fingertips, catch up on videos as and when they come out, please click the subscribe button. I will leave you to it. I'm going to put my liquid feed, my calcium magnesium liquid feed in the cupboard ready to go for the spring summer. I will bottle up my water and put them in the cupboard and water my plants. I'll go around the house now, get rid of some. And I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.